So yeah, this is not a planned video. I was just playing around with some code, and I saw this. What will come next? And this is very much in line with a video that I made a couple of weeks back about how there is still some time before AI takes our jobs, and I'll show you how. I'll show you how it works. So yeah, this is the last that you are looking at my face, and then you'll only be looking at my screen. Enjoy, have fun. Would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you agree with me. Most importantly, let me know if you don't agree with something. That is very important, and I'll see you, or like and subscribe. So this is the perfect example of why using vibe coding to develop something which can go to production, work in production, we're still very far from that. It's not there. It will write code that will work for you, it will do the job, but it is not something that you can push in production without getting involved and doing optimization. And sometimes what I'm going to show you is not even something that you can fix with optimization. It will require a full rewrite. So I'll quickly give you a quick context as to what is being done, what I want to do, and how it has achieved it. So let us say I have a simple two objects, a campaign, something called a campaign, and each campaign has multiple items. A campaign can have 10 items, 20 items, 10,000 items, 10 million items, doesn't matter. Each campaign has multiple items. Now item is the individual unit of work, that is what is processed. So when we have run jobs which run and process each item. So there could be again multiple campaigns, 10, 20, 50, 100, and then could be each campaign having multiple items. Now at one point in the UI, I wanted to display the recent 10 processed items. That was the requirement. Display the recent 10 processed items. So now let's first look at how this code has been written by Claude 3.7 Sonnet. Claude 3.7 Sonnet. Let me check. That's the name. Yeah, 3.7 Sonnet, using Anthropic, using Claude Code and whatnot. Okay. Now this is how it currently works. Okay. The idea is to get recent 10 processed items. Okay. It gets all the campaigns. Now I have gone into this implementation. This I have just commented. So okay. So yeah, this line I have just commented. Otherwise it basically means get me all the campaigns, and in the same query get me all the items also. So at this point I have queried all the campaigns that have ever existed and all the items. So if your database has 1,000 campaigns and a billion items, they have been queried. Okay. And then for each campaign, it's checking if they have items, and then we put all the items into a specific, a single array. All the items go into a single array. Now at this point we filter all the items that have a process state set, which basically means remove all the items that have been processed. So this is the, although I'm sure if you are even slightly coding literate, you can understand that there are multiple red flags here only, but this is the first red flag. If we are anyways going to filter use processed items only, why did we not query it? That is something that we could query directly in the database. Now we do a sort, because obviously we needed latest 10 items. Now this query should have been done in the database only. Now we take 10 items. We take 10 items and then we return this, right? This is functioning. This is working code, which again, I will be honest, I am seeing this for right now for the first time, is because when I asked Claude and Rucode to write it, they just wrote it and it was working. The data was all working. As I was looking at this application just to see what is working, this is how I see. Now a junior developer with maybe a couple of years of experience would have approached it in a different way, which would have been the right way, is you query the items table directly, okay, and say send me the last 10 items which have process date not null, and for them you can also, if you want, you can query the campaign, because we fundamentally need the campaign only, but that query would always return 10 or less items only, okay, and with no variable of, okay, so this will just, the moment as your, this is the kind of code that as your code gets older, the more your application gets used, it starts getting slower, and this is something which could have been fixed in the get-go. Now, on the one hand, you can say this is how software development is done historically, right? We write code which works on our dev machines, which has different specs, less amount of data, less amount of tricky data, but then this level of incorrectness is unexcusable. Now the problem here is, again, hand lens razor at work. Let me check, is it, do I want hand lens razor or do I want something else? Okay, hand lens razor. What does hand lens razor say? So hand lens razor says never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. So what I mean by invoking hand lens razor is Claude or AI code agents are not doing this maliciously or to be bad. It's just that they are, for the lack of a better word, stupid. They don't know. They work in a way which is optimized for delivery more than implementation. And if you ask them to optimize, which I think we can do right away, get recent processed items. This was the function. Let's just do one thing. I will say add this to context, code add to context, and I will be like a little harsh with the code. Okay, I'll say this is very, let's use the big word, very wrong and bad code. Wrong, not wrong, very bad code. It should have directly queried the item model instead of querying all the campaigns and all the items. Now I'll go one step, right? I don't need to, I believe it should fix it, but let's just do say query items model and do the filtration and sorting in the database only. Now see, this is again what matters. Here you will see the amount of money I am spending to fix this. Okay, so some money was spent when this was originally written, this code. Now some money is going to be spent assuming that it works well in the first go, then some money will be spent fixing this only. So that adds up. Now you might say that it is worth it, looking at the pace and the speed, but fundamentally as your application becomes more complex, bigger, more lines of codes, more moving parts, more fragile, as in you make a small change here or there and you do not know where things are going to break, where other things are going to break, then this cost will add up. This cost will be something that you will be have to vary about, and this is where being very particular. Let's just see what it has done. It claims it to have done something. Okay. Campaign service, got it. So we have query items, process date is not null, include campaign true, order by process date, See, fundamentally that entire code base, okay, this all of this, okay, this all of this, right, getting millions and billions of rows, and so first a heavy database query and then storing them in the RAM was eliminated. This code, this new code will always return 10 or less than 10. Okay, and then since you're offloading the querying to the database, which is, by the way, optimized to do that, it will work. Now I will check how if it is working or not, which unfortunately I can't show, but you get it, the idea of this video. I was not planning to make this video. Same thing here, same thing here. I have a function which is supposed to generate stats, of processing. Fundamentally, how many items have been processed in the last 60 minutes, in the last 10 hours, last 24 hours, last 7 days, and it is doing the same thing, right? Loop over campaigns, loop, and then you iterate over all the items. Now, this aggregation in itself could have been done in database. So I will fix that after this video, but I'm just saying, right, if you are a seasoned developer, then our jobs are safe. If you are a rookie developer, then not to worry. There is still a lot of time before people like us are going to be out of job. Fundamentally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill all this usage of get all campaigns, because yeah, that's problematic. Thank you and have a good day.